Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Nate and Josh kicking off another week in the NBA here with you guys. Got best bets in this episode for Monday night with 9 games in the association. Also have another episode up with player props specifically in that one. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Continue to follow along all season with us. Let's get right into things here, Nate, and talk about your C's taking on the Jazz here in Boston.
Yeah, I think this is like a 2-scenario play here is to take the under. Initially, I'm thinking Jazz plus 10 because there is all that bad blood with the Ainges but revenge cuts both ways. I guess that the Celtics have gotten up to play Danny Ainge's Jazz since he left town. But all 4 of those games in the last 2 seasons are under. Despite the Jazz posting a 125 defensive rating, which is, typical Jazz of the last couple seasons, this season they've actually been pretty good on defense. They've been average, at least on the road. The thing is, they're dead last in offense on the road. That's why they're 0-3 to the under on the road. To the over, 3 straight unders on the road, 3 overs at home. They've 64% to the under on back-to-backs since 24. But like beyond trends here, it's the matchup. Like the C's have this total so high because the expectation is, well, the C's are going to shoot 1,000,000 threes. That's what they do. Yes, they're still number 1 in 3-point attempts. The Jazz are giving up the most 3-point attempts. Like this is going to get loose. Like the C's are going to hit so many threes, but they're just not the same efficiency level of team this year, right? I mean, they don't have Tatum creating these shots. They're just not shooting it as well due to regression. And lately they've had success because they've sacrificed some offense for defense, for getting guys like Minot, Queta, Garza, Hugo Gonzalez, friend of the show, soon to be, in the rotation, right? And just getting like winning players out there who are not able to hit threes as consistently, but they shut down the other team. The C's are all, this whole turnaround, the last 4, they're dead last in pace. And they've been great on the boards, limiting second chance, except from playing the Jolly Red Giants, the Houston Rockets last game out. So I think they will be able to shut down. They're number 1 in paint points, so they'll be able to shut the Jazz down from getting it going down low. And I think the Jazz are up for this game enough that what we saw in their game yesterday is just kind of like a look ahead. Like this is very important to the Ainge family and the organization to play well in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who's playing for them too. I think that was a part of I forget, they were at least missing like one guy here in the last game where they just got waxed. And yeah, coming back from that one with the Jazz, it's really just going to be about if the Celtics take advantage of the Jazz's poor defense, and if Walker Kessler, he wasn't playing. He's pretty important for the defense. I would love to have him available. He's the most important player for the defense. It'd be like, wait, who was out for the Ravens? Oh, Ray Lewis. That's right. He was pretty like that is literally Walker Kessler for this defense. That's why they're in the top 5 in paint defense. It's not the Jazz. It's Kessler is top 5 in paint defense, right? So yeah, I think that's going to be a big, come up over the guys that they had playing, including a bit of Filipowski and everything. So let me get to this Lakers game here in Portland. Lake Show playing again after a nice win against the Heat, 250 total there. High pace, high everything. As we know, the Heat are the number 1 team in pace. Quick note there, the Heat have not been in the top 10 in pace since 2005. Shout out the Athletic for that stat. That was an incredible stat to me. But if we're looking at this game, I don't mind an under. I think that's going to kind of be where the market sees it as well. But the -3 kind of just plays into that as well for Portland. There's a couple interesting things here. So Portland is playing very slowly. They're going to be the Lakers are as well. The Portland's playing a little bit faster. The Lakers are playing slower. They're about middle in pace, but pace is not everything. Like the transition points here are a big thing. And guess who's actually top 3 in transition defense this season? It's the Lakers. I wouldn't have guessed that. You could not have paid me to guess that. But they are in top 3, limiting transition points, transition opportunities. While their defensive rating is certainly nothing that you want to like write home about, I do think in this one, middle of the pack against an offense that also might be missing a couple guys in it as well. So that's it. Shaedon Sharpe is also questionable. That would be a huge sort of play to the under. But if you are looking at Portland winning this thing, I think them being them being able to play in the half court as well in this one, especially on defense, is going to be everything. And if the Lakers, they're not trying to get out in transition with Toumani Camara available in this one and a little bit less Shaedon Sharpe, I do think you're going to see a bit more defense with guys coming off the bench for them. So I think that like the low total combined with them being able to handle things in that style of play is really going to be what leads to the Blazers covering in this one.
Yeah, that's impressive that JJ Redick can get these guys to play transition defense like that. I mean, their half court defense is still really bad, right?
Sure.
I mean, and DeAndre Ayton's probably waiting to play in this game. He's probably sat out last night to try to get some revenge. So that's going to make their half court defense bad, bad. And so I'm curious to get your thought as kind of the props masters. Like, who are you targeting on Portland to take advantage of this tired Lakers team that's going to have some bad defensive personnel out there?
The answer would be Shaden Sharp. And if he doesn't play, then I'm not sure if he just like goes off on this team in the half court with pulling some threes and whatnot. So it's going to be a defensive struggle. I think I'm saying I like the under just as much. Just like I said, the market is accounting for that a bit more than I think the fact that, if this style play leads towards Portland being a bit better.
Yeah.
So that I really don't know if Shaden Sharp doesn't play is the answer. I guess Denny, it's really Denny, right? Taking advantage of going up against like Avdia and being able to get into the paint against Ayton and stuff like that.
And Drew, I mean, Drew just drives winning.
Again.
He'll get his PRA, right? So I mean that could be correlated with the Blazers win.
I guess the easy answer is Drew. It's just his stuff is up at like 28.5, 29.5 PRA.
And Sharp stuff was high too, but
yeah,
we'll save the discussion for another day here. Let's get another pick in. Is the Wolves covering -8.5, covering -9, different books, 9.5. I think you're fine to play it up to 10. I think they're winning by double digits in Brooklyn. The 0-6 Brooklyn Nets. It's just a get right spot for the Wolves. I mean, which they already got right against the Hornets, a much more impressive, talented offensive team. But like, is it like the Wolves defense is down this year, or were they just mostly playing really good Western Conference teams? Like, I mean, both things can be true. Yeah. Now they're going to beat up on these two Eastern Conference teams. Last time out, they were plus 40 points in paint against Charlotte. Gobert was a plus 31 out there. Like, so they're going to be able to keep the Nets down there as far as scoring in the paint. They have pretty much dominated Cam Thomas and MPJ in recent meetings. Cam Thomas, 97 offensive rating the last two. MPJ, 98. That's the playoffs. I mean, he has better offensive rating in the regular season when he's playing with Jokic, but he's still a -64 while he's out there against the Wolves. I expect him to hoist a bunch of threes, but like, what else did the Nets have? Their last 5 against the Wolves, a 99 offensive rating. They've shot 40 and 29% and only 12 free throws in the modern NBA. So yes, they are not going to get anything easy here. You look at the Wolves covering against the East last year, 12-3 straight up against these lesser teams. The losses twice to Indy, who went to the finals, of course, and the Bucks. They pretty much took care of bad teams after, for a while, being a West team you couldn't trust. Like, oh my God, they lost to the Wizards. I think that actually happened in early February last year. And since then, they've been like, nah, like let's take care of this. Like, they don't have Ant, of course, but look, JDM has leveled up. Nas is playing well after a slow start. They have a lot of young athletes who can pick up the slack after Mike Conley kind of sets the table. Like, I think this Wolves team is certainly has plenty of advantages to press in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I agree. It would just be a potential letdown, but it's like you just played the Hornets. I mean, and you got up enough for that one. I don't know. Like, Brooklyn is an absolute just dumpster fire. Jordy, Fernandez talking the other day about not knowing how to motivate these guys, and I mean, you give them all like 20 minutes, and you have the weirdest rotations, and nobody really understands where they fit in anything, and so of course it's weird, man. And I think Cam Thomas is probably confused as to whether or not he's supposed to chuck or not. It's like the yes, no, yes kind of thing with him. You just never know if he's going to take something helpful. But yeah, I'm out on Brooklyn, and I do think Minnesota's being undervalued a ton right now. But let's close it out with a Heat at the Clippers here, coming off of that really rough loss to the Lake Show by 10, big high scoring game. This is a couple of things here working in our favor. I love the like back-to-back first quarter. We're still hot. We just finished playing like 16 hours ago or whatever. We're ready to go again. Like, we barely had to like do anything but shoot around today to just make sure we had an eye for the basket. We were already here. We slept in the same bed as the night before because we're just playing in LA once again, even though it's a little bit further away, I suppose, now that it's a different arena. Still the same concept, right? So I think that helps the Heat a ton in this one. And then we also have the first quarter stats on our side. And I think there's a pretty solid narrative to explain why we have the first quarter stats on our side. One team comes out ripping and roaring, and they're going to be playing at 109 pace. Expect that to come down. Tops in the league usually tops out at like 103.5, 104 at the most for a pace. So it'll eventually get down to there, but that's still wicked fast, kid. And you come out playing that way, you're going to be bringing it to the team more often than the other team is going to be bringing it to you in that sense, if you're able to get points in transition as well. If you look at the net rating in the first quarter so far through about 7 games for these squads. The Heat are 7th in net rating in the first quarter. The Clippers are 27th. So third, fourth worst there in the league for the Clips. And like I said, reason being for all that stuff, the Clippers aren't even really getting out in transition anyway. James Harden is usually pretty passive in the first quarter, except for the random outburst where he just goes for like 14 in the first quarter, maybe 8 in the second quarter, and then somehow just like ends with the same amount of points in the second half. So I just feel like the quick start here is going to be for the Heat, obviously in this situation. Plus, they are the team that comes out stronger anyway.
Yeah, they're I think that by the numbers very good in the first quarter, like especially this year with Spo being in his bag, right? I mean, doesn't quite have the same coaching advantage against the Clips, who are also very well coached. But yeah, I think historically last season the Heat won a ton of first halves before they kind of slowed down after the coaching advantage wore off. Big thing here is Norm Powell is probably, this is revenge night. Apparently, I think he sat last night. I mean, he sat all week because his ties to Jamaica, right? I think more than the injury, but I think he probably has this circled as like, okay, here we go. Yeah. So I think Norm Powell points is going to be a full go along with the Heat to probably cover the 8 for the game too. Yeah. If he's a full go, I trust them with that. But I think, they'll definitely come out hot if they have Norm in there.
Knowing Norm Powell, like I don't know him, but I know the sort of narrative around him, right? I wish I knew Norm. He seems like an awesome guy, but the narrative around him is like you're gonna have to keep him out of the game, not like he's down to sit out necessarily, right? And so I would say even last night he knew it was better to sit out so he could play tonight. To your point, but like I'm sure someone was still like you have to sit Norm, and he was like pretty fighting against it. So I'm sure he's pumped to get out and get it tonight. But that is all the time that we have for you guys in this one. Definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can check out the player props episode we have up for you. And until we see you next, happy betting.